Hello my friends, welcome to another watercolor tutorial. I believe we are still in October, or this tutorial will be released in October. So I'm continuing on with the fall theme. This is inspired by val.aufildeleau. I'll include the reference in the description, the credit. So I have sketched out with a pencil roughly what we're going to be painting. So I have a cup here, I have a bigger pumpkin with a smaller pumpkin, and then some kind of like blanket. And I have the very rough guidelines there for me. It's very simple. I should have probably done it on the camera, so maybe I'll do it really quickly now. But I start with the cup top, something like that, and then it kind of, the inside of the cup. So this will be the liquid, and then you want to paint or draw the shape of the cup. You have the handle, you'll have like a blanket coming down like this, something like that, and then continuing on like this. And then in the back here, you'll have a pumpkin, small pumpkin, overshadowed by a bigger pumpkin with the stems, not stems, I forget what those things are called. More blanket. So you get the general idea. It's just paint, like draw yourself something very rough. Don't worry about being hyper precise. Now I am gonna just take an eraser to mine so that the pencil lines are not as dark. And I've opted not to tape the borders of my piece of paper like I usually do, because I'm gonna just draw a black border around it afterwards with a marker or a black pen. So we'll see how that turns out. But I'm gonna start with the background. So we could technically leave it white, but then, you know, the texture of the paper shows through, and I'm not really a big fan of that. So what I'm gonna do is take white watercolor. I have no room on my palette, so I'm just gonna plop down this white watercolor. And I'm applying it just to the areas that don't have anything painted. So it's basically just this top quadrant. Is quadrant even the right word? I don't know. And if you're having trouble seeing what you're painting, you can tint it a little bit, like gray or something along those lines. So we just don't want the background to be completely like unpainted. Oops, I think I accidentally picked up a little bit of a red tone. I have so much dust on, oh, it's because I'm using a paintbrush that I haven't used in a while. Okay, so I think I'm okay with this. I'm trying to decide what to tackle next. I think it'd be nice, okay, so we'll add a little leaf here, but it's gonna be very abstract. So take brown or orange, whatever color that you want your leaf to be. And we're doing wet on wet here. So just keep that in mind. I should have just kept it the way it was. Ugh, oh well. Can I still kind of lift some of this off? Take white and just paint over top. That's not going to be the focal point anyway, so that's okay. Okay, so what are we doing next here? Trying to decide. So there's going to be like this blue blanket, and I think we can paint that blue blanket at the end. Although it's good to paint things that are going to overlap one another, like the things that are going to be overlapped first. So for instance, this pumpkin is overlapped by the smaller pumpkin, which is overlapped by this cup, which is overlapped by this blanket. And the cup also overlaps the blanket on this side. So I think it perhaps would be best maybe to paint the pumpkins. Although the cup is white, so I can't really like paint over top of, I'm gonna just paint the cup. I'll paint the cup first. So this cup is gonna be like one of those really neat enamel cups. And it's gonna be white with a bit of gray. I guess this looks mostly gray, but so I was gonna say something. My daughter is sleeping. She went down for a nap. She got up earlier than usual. The night wasn't the greatest. And so she got up at like 6 a.m. And oh my gosh, my brain is just not turned on at 6 a.m. So that was kind of hard. Like I'm a lot more used to it now, but man, when you first become a parent and you realize that your needs come second to your child's needs, it's not like you can, I mean, technically, yeah, you could leave your child to cry or just like, but I don't know very many mothers that can, you know, do that without feeling horrible. You have to address your child's needs. And yeah, that was a hard adjustment. Because you can't just, you know, sleep in for an extra 2 hours if you want. It's not like you can call in sick to work if you're not feeling well. Like, you just have to get up and do what you have to do, because that is just the reality. So now it's like I'm a lot more used to it, but I'm still so tired so often. And yeah, so she got up really early today, and so she went down for a nap earlier than usual. And I was debating, do I nap as well, or do I paint? And I guess you can see which one I chose, because I am on a roll with these tutorials. It is May, and I am painting the second half. I think this is going to be the last tutorial of October. And then I have to have the entire year, I actually ideally until like February 2025 painted before midsummer. And and what was my point? What the heck was my point? Yes, I'm kind of on a roll. I want to get that done. I want to get it done way before midsummer. I want to be done in May, just done, so I can focus on the garden and other things. Like, I do this every year. I'm never this much ahead. Usually, like, by May, I've done just the summer months. But there's other reasons for why I need to have so much done ahead of time. But yeah, I'm exhausted. I'm very tired, but it will feel good when this is done. I also put out a little poll today asking people, would they do like a YouTube subscription to me if I were to put out an additional 2 videos a month, like 2 tutorials, I'm like thinking about that now. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I wouldn't be done in May because I'd have to keep filming. Okay, sorry, I'm just adding a shadow to the handle here, like underneath, because obviously there's going to be a shadow there, and a shadow on this side over here because it's the bottom. I hope that makes sense. And a little bit of shadow over here. Okay, sorry, I got distracted there as usual. So this is gonna be overlapped by a blue cloth. So I'm just trying to add a bit of shadow darkness just over here that the blue cloth would be casting onto the cup. And I'm just using whatever was on my palette. And this is gonna be a lot darker too. I'm not sure why I'm using a liner brush for this, but now this has to dry before I can do the outer rim. So I think I'm gonna move on to the pumpkin. So okay, yeah, we're gonna do the pumpkin next while this dries because I can't do anything that's attached to this cup because it's drying. Technically this pumpkin is attached to the cup, so is, shoot, this one is too. And I don't want to use a blow dryer because I don't want to wake my daughter up. I actually had a comment before about, someone said something like, live your life, like don't tailor your life around your child in terms of being quiet. And I was like, this kid, or sorry, I'm so tired. This person must not have children because I'm sorry, but I would much rather stay quiet and have my child sleep and get like a bit of a break than go on with my life and not being able to do anything because my child wakes up. You know what I mean? Okay, hopefully I will remember to edit that out. Otherwise, that will be like 1 minute of nothing. I'm trying to sell things for my mom online. And yeah, I got distracted. Person was interested in coming right away and I didn't want to wait until I was done painting because then my daughter would probably be up and I'd forget. So, oh shoot, I wanted to start with this pumpkin. Oh well, we've already started with the big one. So I'm gonna mix a little bit of brown into my orange because I want this to be a more rustic looking pumpkin, not like a cartoony looking one. So I have painted quite a few pumpkins on this channel of various kinds, like more abstract, more cartoony, more realistic, I think, if my brain is functioning and remembering things correctly. So this is another variation, I suppose. I'm just doing like the sections of the pumpkin first, which will be a tad bit darker than everything else. We can always go back and like adjust this later. I do need a bit more orange in this because it's looking very brown. Okay, I don't know where I was in my story before I got really distracted about the subscription thing, but I put out a question asking if people would be interested in a subscription where they pay like 15 bucks a month or somewhere around there. I have to work out exactly how much would be worthwhile for both you and I for an extra 2 tutorials a month that would only be available to those who subscribe. Everything else is continuing the same. I'm still gonna have 2 free tutorials every single week. This would just be in addition to that. I feel like that model is more scalable and more worth my time than like releasing another Skillshare tutorial. I had big plans this year to do like Skillshare, to do another Skillshare tutorial and release like a watercolor coloring book kind of thing. And yeah, nothing really, I'm not sure that any of that is gonna actually transpire because one, I am exhausted and I am just trying to keep up with life. And two, new developments in our life has kind of put some things on hold, and I'm not really sure what's going to happen in the next few months. So all that is to say that I'm thinking about doing that, having like a little subscription-based model just to raise some extra funds for unexpected life costs. I'll just put it that way. I'll probably talk about it at some point in 2025. Okay, so I left these top sections a little bit brighter because I want it to look like, you know, there's a sun coming from the like middle right side. So this is going to be a lot darker. I'm going to go ahead and add black or brown. I have like this random plum color on my palette, so I'm just going to pick that up. Like so. So my mom, no, actually, I'm not going to say that. I should keep certain, I can talk about my own life, but I should not say details about my family members. It's not fair to them. I was going to tell you a really fun story, but I need to maintain people's privacy. Okay, this pumpkin is looking really cute. I can't believe we're 20 minutes in though. I've barely painted anything. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? This has to be way darker here, so I'm gonna pick up some black. That plum that I added was not enough. Come on, black. Maybe I need more water. There we go. It's a super rainy day today, so I do not feel guilty about painting. But the thing is, I can't even be outside in the same way I used to because of my daughter. We live in a forest, so my goodness, the bugs are bad right now. Like the black flies, oh gosh, the mosquitoes are a whole nother story because the black flies kind of go away in the month of May, or by the end of May, maybe beginning of June, but the mosquitoes hang around all summer. Okay, sorry. Let me just think about this for a moment. We have to wait for this pumpkin to dry in order to do this pumpkin. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the, start on the blue blanket. So I don't even know what color of blue this is. I will inevitably get asked that question. I don't know. I've got like 15 blues to choose from, and I just chose a random one. Every little line that I drew here is supposed to be a crease. So I don't think it has to be extremely precise per se, because I don't know what I'm saying. I just don't think it needs to be precise. I'm just gonna paint like a little line on top of each crease, each penciled in crease, and then I'm gonna blend it all out. Like so. And we'll go over that in a moment, make it a tad bit darker. Well, it's gonna be a whole lot darker, actually. So this section here is going to be darker. And all around this cup technically should be darker, because like I said, the sun is coming, or the light is coming from, the light source is coming from the right. So everything kind of on the left should have some kind of shadow attached to it. But you just want to be mindful that it doesn't look like a blob, because right now it's looking a little bit blobby. What would not be great right now is if my daughter woke up, because I'm kind of at a point where you can't let this dry before you finish it. It needs to be way darker than that. Oh boy, my baby is moving around a lot. I have a baby monitor in front of me, which, by the way, I think I mentioned this in another video. I always thought that that was such a like wasted purchase. Like, why would you spend so much money on a video camera for your baby? But man, have I changed my tune. It has been so helpful. I'm very happy. I mean, we purchased it. I should preface that with, I purchased it because my baby had / kind of still has eczema, and so she was scratching herself a lot when she was sleeping. And as her eczema improved, she stopped scratching as much, so we didn't have to put her in like this straitjacket that we had for her anymore. But I still needed to see her to make sure she's not scratching, so that's why I bought it. And I'm so glad that we did, because I have so much less worry about it now, about her scratching. Yeah. Okay. I really want to do this second pumpkin before I do anything else. But I'll just continue on with the blue blanket, I suppose. So I'll continue on here. it's gonna be ultra dark over here. When I first saw this painting, like I looked at it and I was like, oh, that'd be so nice to paint, but this is gonna be so much work and it probably isn't gonna look very nice because I'm not good at these kinds of paintings. But I'm really glad that I changed my mind and I decided to attempt it because it's kind of therapeutic to do these little sections, and it's always nice to practice something other than landscapes, which is, you know, predominantly what I focus on this channel. So all in all, I'm glad that I decided to attempt it, even though I still don't know what this is going to end up looking like. I could still mess it up big time, but in the meantime, I'm really enjoying it. So like I mentioned, there's gonna be, I'm gonna maybe draw on a black border afterwards. Around this whole thing. We will see. So I'm just trying to keep it as square as possible. I'm going to add a little bit of black to, that's too much, to the blue, because I want those dark sections to be truly dark. But okay, I am so glad that I realized that my phone ran out of memory before I painted the rest of this tutorial. It just doesn't give me any notification. It just stops filming and hopes that I notice. So I'm glad that I did. So you didn't miss much. I just finished painting this cloth, but it was just more of the same. So don't worry that you missed anything important. We're gonna move on to the second pumpkin now, since this seems to be dry. And I'm gonna do it exactly the same way that I did the first pumpkin, where I kind of paint the veins of the pumpkin first, because I really like how that ended up looking. And this one is going to be a little more orange maybe than the other one, because the other one's very brown. I do want there to be a contrast between the two. Something like that, and then it'll be dark here. It'll be very dark here. This will actually be almost black, I think, in the end. But I'll just paint it orange for now as a placeholder. This is why I was saying it's good to do the things that are being overlapped first, because I have to now worry about not painting over the cup handle. Whereas if I was using acrylic paints, I could just paint like right over top and it would be all fine and dandy, but it's not exactly possible. So I'm doing the same thing that I did with the other pumpkin, where I leave like this part nice and bright. The part that is exposed to the light source, which is coming from this side. And boy, oh boy. While this is drying, actually, I'm gonna take black. And oh, I think my daughter's waking up. I'm just gonna paint this section black because it looks black in the painting that I am looking at. I don't know why it's black. But I'm trying to be very careful. It bled a little bit into the orange there. Okay, where are we now in this process? I'm gonna paint the rind, or I'm pretty sure there's a different name for the handle of a pumpkin. You guys are really good at telling me what those names are, so please go for it in the comments. And I love when you guys comment and tell me things like that. And the reason is not why you think, oh shoot, my daughter is up. She's up. Oh boy. I'm gonna have to pause this painting. Unless she can put herself back to sleep, but I think it is game over for us. I really thought I could get one painting in. When you're painting the husk, just make sure you put the little strand, the husk going down into the veins of the pumpkin. It makes it look a little more realistic. Yeah, she's up. I gotta go, guys. I will have to finish this at another time. Oh, maybe not. Let me just turn the sound on so I can hear if she's... Okay, no, she's not even crying. She's just looking around. So let's continue on. I'm gonna continue on while I can. I'm gonna take white watercolor, and it's almost dry on my brush. Like there's very little water, and I'm adding highlights to the pumpkin. Just on top of where we already had lighter sections. See, this is why sleep training is glorious. The child can put herself back to sleep. Anyways, I can't forget to do this husk, rind, whatever it's called as well. I'd say remind me, but there's no way for you to do that. Because this is not dry yet. I have to wait for it to dry. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Let's just try it. So I'm going to do the same thing where it's going to go into the veins of the pumpkin. Oh, I started saying something. So the reason, like the underlying reason I really like when you guys tell me what like the names of certain things are, or like just a fun fact or whatever, is because that indicates to me that you're actually watching the whole video, which I so appreciate. Like if you watch the whole video, it means that you listen to like every single tiny little detail that I talked about. And I appreciate that, because when I watch people's videos, not like I don't watch watercolor tutorials on YouTube, just like completely unrelated videos. I don't watch the whole video most of the time. Like I'll just skip like half of it, or clearly my attention span is not very good, but I'll skip half of it, or I will often put it on like 1.5 times the speed, because some people just talk really slow. But anywho, the other thing I'm going to do when the husks, or the whatever these things are called, when they dry, I'm going to add like white highlights. I just hope I remember to do that. I'm going to move on to the cup, because I think everything around it is dry, so I can actually do stuff. So I'm going to take like a maroon mixed with brown. I don't know. I just have a combination of random things. Like, I'm not joking. Let me show you. I have a combination right here of random colors of maroon and brown and red. And that is what I'm taking to line, or using to line the rim of my mug. Like so. Oh no, my baby's up. But she's not crying yet, so I'm gonna she's just kind of looking around and playing with her hands. Usually I paint on Saturdays when my husband is watching her, but you know, she's been so good at napping recently that like every day she naps. She takes two 2-hour naps. And here I think she only slept for, I guess, 45 minutes, because that's how long this tutorial has taken so far. I'm gonna take some black and just add it here and here again. Kind of racing against. Oh, can you hear that? She is up. She is up. And take brown, kind of orange brown for the like mocha, whatever is in this cup. And come on, little bean, entertain yourself for a little bit longer. And then I dipped my paintbrush just into water so that I could kind of blend this out really nicely. There's too many things happening at once. I just saw someone message me for the stuff I'm selling for my mom, and they're supposed to be there like basically at this time. So she's probably standing there. I don't understand why people won't knock on the door. I've had that so much where they're like, I'm here. Yeah, so come to the door. Knock on the door. Why are people scared of doorbells now? I'm gonna add shading here to this side. I should have done that like a long time ago so it could have dried in time, but like that. Okay, there's a few things that I still have to do to this painting. But I have I'm way too distracted because my kid is like, she's being really good. She's entertaining herself. She's not crying yet. But I know it's going to start at any moment. And I'm way too distracted. So I'm taking that white watercolor and adding those little veins to the handles of the pumpkins. Usually, actually, you know what? Let me take silver. I love using the metallic silver that I have. It's much brighter. You can see it a lot better than the white, like so. And the other thing I want to do, there's a few things I wanted to do still. We have to line the cup and line like a few other details. So like this is when I would suggest maybe switching to a marker if you have one that is fine enough to line a bunch of stuff with. So I want to line the rim of my cup as I'm doing here, and it has to be mega thin. Every day I thank God that my kid is not scratching herself to bits like she was just a month ago. Like, I would not be able to do what I'm doing now if she was still scratching. And I am so happy to say I did it without any professional help, because all they want to do is prescribe medications instead of trying to solve the root cause, and that is healthcare in this country. But I'm not going to get into that because it's probably some topic that would get flagged. But I did it myself. If you have a child with eczema, reach out to me. I'm probably going to make like a separate business out of that, or like an Instagram page or something, to share all the things that worked and that didn't work. Ultimately, it took healing my baby's gut. That was what I ended up doing through a variety of methods. And we're not out of the woods yet, but holy, the fact that she doesn't scratch her face anymore is amazing. Okay. What else do I want to line? I'm kind of tempted to line the whole painting. Because I lined the cup. Maybe I should line the pumpkins. Whee! Let's see. Let's see if I line. Oh no, I don't know why this section turned blue. Like there's blue dots. I think I'll just line the top like I did. I'll leave the blue blanket untouched. So, you know what? We could go into so many more details with this painting, but we're like, I don't know, 40, 50 minutes in, and my child needs attention. So I'm going to stop there. But please let me know what you thought of this one. I am pleasantly surprised. I should do more of these ones where I really just take my time and whatnot. But yeah, let me know what you think. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, comment down below, and I will see you in the next tutorial.